of course, is something that is very well talked about, not just by me. In fact, I talk the least, but by many, many others, is the UJALA scheme, the LED revolution that came in this country. And just to give you a perspective, when we started the scheme in 2014, the LED prices, the bulb prices, on a 7-watt bulb used to cost about 500 rupees. Price fell down to 38 rupees.
Wow.
In about 18 months.
1/10.
Yes. And more than that, I mean, now you don't even hear of CFLs.
Yes.
The complete transformation of the market took place in those 2-3 years. 500 gigawatt of renewable energy. Have you heard of any other?
Net zero.
Net zero. तो बहुत सारे लोगों ने कहा है वो ये आसान होता है कि 2050 में हम होंगे. 2050 में जो अनाउंस कर रहा है वो नहीं होगा, जो हम और आप जो उसको सुन रहे हैं वो भी शायद ना हो. बट इंडिया ने कहा हम 5 साल में 500 गीगावाट लगाएंगे. टेल मी वन मेजर कंट्री व्हिच हैज मेड सच अ क्लेम.
Not that I know of.
वी आर इम्प्लीमेंटिंग 10 करोड़ सोलर रूफटॉप प्रोग्राम. The biggest energy transition initiative, I would say, anywhere in this world. जो 2047 में इंडिया होगा, उसका 60 से 70% इंडिया अभी बनना है. इस तरह की इकोनॉमिक ग्रोथ आप किसी भी कंट्री का देख लीजिए, इंक्लूडिंग चाइना. एनर्जी इज अ की इंग्रेडिएंट टू दिस इकोनॉमिक. आप एक गरीब आदमी के घर पे उसको फ्री में इलेक्ट्रिसिटी दे रहे हो सोलर से. इससे बड़ा जस्ट ट्रांजिशन मेरे समझ से
वर्ल्ड में there is no other place than that. Namaskar and welcome to the Energy Transition Dialogue, a platform where we unlock some of the most critical issues of clean energy transition and sustainability. And today I have with me a very well-known personality, Mr. Saurabh Kumar. Welcome once again, Saurabh.
Thank you, Vaibhav, and it's a great privilege to be here on this platform, and we look forward to many more.
Thank you, Saurabh. Just to sort of start with, Saurabh, what this GEAPP is all about. I believe this is a relatively new initiative that have come up. What is the broader vision, mission of GEAPP, like globally and specifically in India?
So, as you rightly said, this is a 3-year-old organization. Relatively very, very new, the newest kid in the block, if I may be allowed to say, because there are many kids in the block in the climate finance space. It's also a very unique organization in many ways. It's essentially founded by 3 philanthropies, very large philanthropies: the Rockefeller Foundation, the Bezos Earth Fund, and the IKEA Foundation. And the reason why it is different is that it is we are a philanthropy, but we are not a foundation. Now, the difference between the two, as I see it, is that a philanthropy is someone who does work without seeking a return, which includes foundations also. Foundations are those who have a endowment that is coming up, whether it is a Rockefeller Foundation or a Bezos Earth Fund, etc.
Yes.
Which means our work is really cut out for us. We have to perform. We have to show impact on the ground. Only then funders like Rockefeller and Bezos will continue to pay. So, it's more of a performance-based. The second difference that GEAPP is with as compared to other philanthropic organizations is that we do work on our own, with our own hands. Most of the philanthropies, as you know, work through NGOs, not-for-profit companies, and so on and so forth. But here, this is the real difference, that we want to make real-life impact on the ground. Globally, we are present in 8 countries, developing countries, 3 in Asia, including India. We are in Indonesia and Vietnam, 4 countries in Africa, and Brazil in Latin America. So that's how we are constituted as an entity, a global entity.
So, I mean, really, after learning about your background, you yourself have been a policymaker in the past. You've served as Secretary BEE in UN and a couple of other places in the past. And I've been really driving some of these innovative solutions for last many decades now. Can you just tell us like 2 or 3 specific, highly innovative solutions that you've come across, which you think are really worth sharing?
So let me start in the energy space from my first experience was in the Bureau of Energy Efficiency, and the scheme that was designed at that point in time, and I think wherever you were also part of that, is the perform, achieve, and trade mechanism.
Which still is in
It
existence.
is still in existence. Now it's becoming a much better scheme with the carbon angle getting added.
Yes.
Now that in 2010 was, I think, something that was ahead of its time. Let me try and make it very simple. What does specific energy consumption mean? So if my consumption of specific energy is 1 kilowatt hour per ton, the government gives them a target that you reduce it by 5%, make it 0.95 kilowatt hour per ton in the next 3 years. There was an added incentive. The incentive was, if you do 0.9, which means you have reduced it further by another 5%, that 5% extra will be given to you as a tradable certificate.
And that is the incentive.
Yeah, that is the incentive which you can sell to someone who has not been able to comply to that 5% reduction. So the idea was you create a market, and therefore people are incentivized to do more than what they have been mandated to.
Yes.
So it has been now running for, I think, 4 cycles, almost 12-13 years. This has been running, and almost when we started off, I remember there were about 300 odd companies, and these are all very large users of energy. Today it has expanded to nearly 1,000 entities, and now with the scheme becoming the carbon scheme,
yes,
it will grow into a much larger pool. And I remember soon after we launched that, it was the World Bank which took this template and started giving it to other countries as well.
Yeah.
So that was I think a very innovative scheme, much ahead of its time. The other, of course, is something that is very well talked about, not just by me. In fact, I talk the least, but by many others, is the UJALA scheme.
The LED one.
The LED revolution that came in this country. And just to give you a perspective, when we started the scheme in 2014, the LED prices, the bulb prices on a 7-watt bulb used to cost about 500 rupees. By our very unique business model, where we did not take any incentive, budgetary support or subsidy from the government, we just said, we will give you an LED bulb, you give me back your incandescent, and you repay us over a 10-year period. The first procurement that we did was for Pondicherry. It was for about 6 lakhs bulbs, and covering, so 2 bulbs were being given to each household, and almost 3 lakh households. And the price came to about 300 rupees when we did a competitive procurement.
Yeah.
And we said, you pay us 10 rupees per month through your electricity bill.
The same.
Yeah. So, and you will save 15 rupees because you are, I'm taking out your
inefficient lamp.
A 60-watt bulb I'm replacing by a 7-watt bulb.
Yes.
So if you use it for 4 hours a day, you will save at least 15 rupees a day. You give, a month, and you give me 10 rupees a month.
Yeah.
That gets added to your electricity bill. It was a runaway success. And then we took and we gave a warranty of 10 years, knowing fully well that the bulbs are not going to last for 10 years.
But still you gave a warranty for 10 years?
Yes, you have to take a calculated risk, and the board was completely aligned. The first, I think we spent about 18 crores in the first 6 lakh bulbs. There's also a story behind this, and if you permit me,
sure.
It's a very interesting story. The story was, I knew the Chief Secretary of Pondicherry well, and he got convinced that this is a good program. He was also a committed environmentalist. He wanted to. He says, I have only one request to make to you. You please make a presentation before the Honorable Chief Minister.
Okay.
I said, yes, we will. The second story was, one of the sharp people in my team, what they did was they created a box of the bulb, right? And on the box of the bulb, they put the Chief Minister's photograph.
Oh, okay.
And this was late 2013. If you recall, Pondicherry elections happened along with the general elections.
Yes.
And the elections were due in 2014. So the moment he saw that,
Yeah.
as a politician, he says, look, I have to not spend any money.
Yes.
And my photograph is going to 3 lakh households. Yes, approved.
Approved.
But because Pondicherry is a union territory, file went up to the Lieutenant Governor.
Yeah.
He also approved with one condition, that my face also has to be on the bulb. It went down to the Power Minister.
Okay.
He also approved
One more picture.
one more picture. So that bulb has 3 pictures. Anyway, so that continued.
Yes.
2014 elections happened in the neighboring state of Andhra Pradesh. Mr. Naidu took over. Someone took that bulb photo and showed it to him.
Yes.
I was called to then Hyderabad because he had not shifted to Vijayawada and other. And immediately that 6 lakh order became a 60 lakh order.
Wow.
Right. And that is how the journey began. From there, that thing went up to Delhi. Delhi was going to have an election in 2015. 60 lakh became 80 lakh. And so that's one part of the story. The second part of the story is, and that's really hats off to I would say, the industry and my own team. I mentioned to you in Pondicherry, we did 6 lakh bulbs.
Yes.
It took us 6 months to distribute those bulbs. Simply because the supply was not there. There was hardly any supplier who was making LED bulbs in India.
Yes.
Most of it was coming from China.
Exactly.
Fast forward, this is between February and August of 2014. Take out about a month or two for the elections where we could not distribute. September, October 2015,
Yeah.
we were doing 6 lakh bulb distribution per day.
Per day.
Yes.
In just like
One year's
your
yeah.
time.
So
And that
it
is
is
all
a
what
combination.
imported from China? No.
Most of it was getting made in India. So the industry suddenly
Realize the potential.
completely realized what we are doing, how this is turning out to be a massive transformation. In 2015-16,
Yeah.
so again, in numbers, let me also give you. And by the way, this is a case study in Harvard and also IIM Ahmedabad, the UJALA story. In 2014-15, we distributed 30 lakh bulbs. And again, there's a story behind this. I was very happy because this was the largest ever distribution of a light bulb in the country. And of course, before that, in January 2015, the Honorable Prime Minister announced the National LED program. So I went up to Mr. Piyush Goyal, who was my minister.
Yeah.
I thought I'll tell him what fabulous work we have done and he will give me a pat on the back and that's it. When I told him that we have done 30 lakhs, you know what he said?
What?
Are you out of your mind, Saurabh?
What?
You have told the Prime Minister that in 3 years to 5 years time, you will change 77 crore bulbs to LEDs. And you are happy that you have done only 3 million? He said, next year's target is 9 crores. So that the other side of the story, that from 30 lakhs,
Yeah.
we were suddenly going to do 9 crores.
9
And
crores.
my office was in Noida. I was from Central Delhi driving back and I said, look, this is not going to happen. So better resign now than to be thrown out at the end of the year. But then, and this is an important lesson, at least for me. If you look at 9 crores, it's a big number. You can never get over it.
Yeah.
And if you can never get over it mentally, you can never prepare. How can you ever achieve those targets?
Yeah.
What we did, we divided by 350 days. And suddenly the numbers look very...
A little more realistic.
5 lakhs a day.
Yeah.
Possible. We do 20 cities simultaneously, 10 counters in each city. That's quite manageable.
Yeah.
And lo and behold, 31st March, we completed 9 crores. And that's how the journey of ESL began.
And the price also kept on
And of course,
reducing because of the economies of scale, I believe.
price from 300 odd that we did in 2014
Yeah.
fell down to 38 rupees
Wow.
in about 18 months.
1/10.
Yes. And more than that, I mean, now you don't even hear of CFLs.
Yes.
The complete transformation of the market took place in those 2-3 years. So I think, to my mind, these are the two most innovative projects that at least I was involved in.
Very, very fascinating. So, what do you think? Like, is it really the policymakers, the government, who are like driving these innovations, or is it like the industries who are leading the charge, or the startups in today's world, or maybe kind of a mix of all?
देखिए, it has to be a mix of all. एक से नहीं होता है. जो अब उजाला का जो मैं उदाहरण बता रहा था, उजाला में अगर इंडस्ट्री हमारे साथ नहीं होती तो हम वो स्केल अप नहीं कर सकते.
बट इंडस्ट्री को कॉन्फिडेंस,
तो दैट वाज वन थिंग एज अ पार्ट ऑफ द प्रोग्राम दैट मैं हमेशा हर 2-3 महीने में मैं मिलता था, हमारे मंत्री मिलते थे, एंड वी kept on telling them this is the kind of vision the government has.
Yeah.
And do invest in manufacturing, try and localize as much as you can. और ये localization हुआ भी इसीलिए, और ये price drop हुआ भी इसीलिए because हम बहुत सारे products को localize कर पाए.
Absolutely.
Otherwise अगर आप सिर्फ import करते रहते तो for example, I don't know if you आपको अगर याद होगा, सिस्का नाम की एक कंपनी थी,
Yes.
which became very big
Yes.
in LEDs during that time. I procured 36 crore LEDs. I was the Philips single largest customer globally. Cisco never bid even a single time in my tender. मैंने उनसे पूछा कि क्यों नहीं करते हैं. बोले हम आपकी प्राइस मैच ही नहीं कर सकते, बिकॉज हम तो सब इंपोर्ट कर रहे हैं, ट्रेडिंग कर रहे हैं. अगर हम मैन्युफैक्चरिंग यहाँ करेंगे तो आई कैन कम्पीट ऑन योर प्राइस, बट कोई चांस ही नहीं. सो आई थिंक इंडस्ट्री प्लेज अ वेरी वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट रोल. और एक चीज और मैं बताऊंगा कि कहना चाहूंगा कि जो रिस्क टेकिंग एबिलिटी है सरकार में, वो शायद प्राइवेट सेक्टर में इतनी नहीं है जितनी कि सरकार में है.
ओह, बट परसेप्शन तो आई थिंक इज द अदर वे अराउंड.
चेंज हो रहा है. अगर आप देखें
जी,
लुक एट द बोल्ड पॉलिसी स्टेटमेंट जो आप अभी सुनते आ रहे हैं, 500 गीगावाट ऑफ रिन्यूएबल एनर्जी. हैव यू हर्ड ऑफ एनी अदर?
नेट जीरो
तो बहुत सारे लोगों ने कहा है. वो ये आसान होता है कि 2050 में हम होंगे. 2050 में जो अनाउंस कर रहा है वो नहीं होगा, जो हम और आप जो उसको सुन रहे हैं वो भी शायद ना हो. बट इंडिया ने कहा हम 5 साल में 500 गीगावाट लगाएंगे. टेल मी वन मेजर कंट्री व्हिच हैज मेड सच अ क्लेम.
नॉट दैट आई नो ऑफ.
वी आर इम्प्लीमेंटिंग 10 crore solar rooftop program. The biggest energy transition initiative, I would say, anywhere in this world.
Interesting, yeah.
किसी और का आपने सुना है? टोटल लास्ट ईयर पूरे वर्ल्ड में 10 मिलियन रूफटॉप हुए थे सब मिला के. वी आर टॉकिंग अबाउट 10 मिलियन रूफटॉप्स इन 3 years टाइम. सो आई थिंक these are very bold initiatives.
Absolutely.
Out of the world, and I think it's really a joy supporting the government in doing what we feel is actually necessary, not just by India, but for virtually everyone else who potentially can.
Absolutely. And just picking the cue from there, क्योंकि आपने ये बड़े मिशंस और गवर्नमेंट के प्रोग्राम्स की बात की, गोइंग फॉरवर्ड, व्हाट डू यू थिंक दैट रोल ऑफ दीज कोलैबोरेटिव्स, अलायंसेस, कलेक्टिव्स, इनका क्या रोल है इन बड़े बड़े मिशंस में, इन रिन्यूएबल्स के बड़े टारगेट को डिलीवर कराने में, एनर्जी एफिशिएंसी या कंजर्वेशन के बड़े मिशंस एजेंडा को फुलफिल करने में? बिकॉज वी हैव बीन हियरिंग अबाउट many alliances, and GEAPP is relatively new, let me say it that way, but there have been quite a few anyways. इनका क्या रोल है? Think tank, civil society, I mean, we can just throw some light on that.
देखिए, let's put all this, whether it is renewables, batteries, energy efficiency, इसको सबको एक शब्द में बांटते हैं, 2 शब्द में, which is energy transition.
Yes.
Right. Energy transition अगर आप भारत सरकार का अगर सब्जेक्ट देखा जाए तो इसमें 18 मंत्रालय को साथ में काम करने की आवश्यकता.
18? I thought it's 7 or 8.
18. 18 ministries have to work together if you really want coordinated action. Now, take it to state level, same 18. Take it to an industry level.
Yes.
Again the same issue. So, यहाँ पे बिना कोलैबोरेशन के आपका जस्ट एनर्जी ट्रांजिशन संभव ही नहीं. दैट्स नंबर 1. नंबर 2, कोलैबोरेशन से दूसरा फायदा क्या है? बहुत सारी चीजें हैं जो कि नई हो रही हैं, और लेट मी टेल यू कि सबसे बड़ी नई चीज इंडिया क्या कर रहा है. इंडिया हैज सेड कि हम 2047 तक वी विल बिकम अ विकसित भारत, डेवलप्ड नेशन। अब आज जो 2047 में इंडिया होगा, उसका 60 से 70% इंडिया अभी बनना है। इस तरह की इकोनॉमिक ग्रोथ आप किसी भी कंट्री का देख लीजिए, इंक्लूडिंग चाइना। एनर्जी इज अ की इंग्रेडिएंट टू दिस इकोनॉमिक ग्रोथ,
टू डेवलपमेंट, यस।
अब किसी भी चाहे चाइना हो, चाहे यूरोप हो, चाहे यूएस हो, एवरीबडी हैज डेवलप्ड यूजिंग चीप फॉसिल फ्यूल एनर्जी। इंडिया आज से लेके 47 तक हैज टू फाइंड एन ऑल्टरनेटिव।
So it's a unique
Absolutely, and
absolutely
this
different.
trajectory is not, there is no parallels.
Wow.
You have to develop using clean energy. You have to develop using innovations that the world has not seen.
Yeah.
Technologies that may not exist today. And you still have to take care of the fact कि आपकी social equity होनी, आपका sustainable development होना, your economic prosperity has to go up. So I think India is in well on course of that. And I mentioned कि ये 10 million rooftop is a energy transition project, a just energy transition. आप एक गरीब आदमी के घर पे उसको फ्री में इलेक्ट्रिसिटी दे रहे हो सोलर से। इससे बड़ा जस्ट ट्रांजिशन मेरे समझ से
वर्ल्ड में there is no other place than that.
So we are clearly finding a way forward. इसमें collaborations की बहुत ज्यादा आवश्यकता है। Innovations will drive the next generation of growth. चाहे वो AI हो, चाहे वो नई टेक्नोलॉजी हो, नए फ्यूल्स हो। We are talking about hydrogen. क्या पता अभी फ्यूजन can become something big. I'm glad government is talking about SMRs.
Yes.
Small modular reactors.
Yes.
तो जो इंडिया पाथ तय करेगा, अगर इस धरती को सस्टेनेबल रहना है
तो वर्ल्ड विल
है, हाँ, करना ही पड़ेगा। देखिए 1.5 डिग्री सेंटीग्रेड हम ऑलरेडी पहुंच चुके हैं
जी,
which is what was our target by 2030. 5 साल पहले we have already warmed up to that much. Now if we continue this way, I don't think this world will be habitable in the next 20, 25, 30 years.
Right.
So कोई choice नहीं है हमारे।
Yeah. And since you mentioned this word of energy transition, I mean, simply put, so energy transitions talk about broadly two verticals. One is on the supply side and another one is on the demand side. So, Saurabh, what do you think that which of these two broader packets needs a little more attention in the Indian context?
Quite clearly demand side पे. And why, let me quote something that I've learned it from my ex-boss, Dr. Ajay Mathur.
जी.
And he said a very simple thing. अगर एक बकेट है, उसमें एक लीक है, तो जितना मर्जी भी आप पानी भरोगे, वो कभी फुल नहीं होंगे. That is how I look at demand and supply side. So while you can keep increasing your generating capacity, transmission capacity, जब तक demand को आप को कम नहीं करेंगे आप, you will never have sufficient. और दूसरी बात रही, I think not just India, I think India has done much more than other countries. The entire world has done very little for energy efficiency. And I keep saying this.
Yeah.
There is no international intergovernmental body on energy efficiency. जबकि आइए पिछले 20 साल से उनका वर्ल्ड एनर्जी आउटलुक आप देखिए, they say more than 50% of mitigation opportunities are from energy efficiency.
Yes.
फिर भी एक भी इंटरनेशनल ऑर्गेनाइजेशन आप मुझे बता दें जो कि exclusively energy efficiency focused हो.
Now India also have this target. Other than the Viksit Bharat target of 2050, 2047, there is also a target of net zero by 2070. Now, how realistic that target is, because as you rightly said, India has to be kind of built by an order of maybe 70% that you will see after 30, 40 years, which is yet to be done. So there has to be a very new India that is emerging in the next 25, 30 odd years. That very new India, it could be a little more energy efficient or maybe much more energy efficient, I don't know. But net zero, I mean, net zero is like a big and very ambitious target, don't you think so?
No, it is, look, while it may be big, ambitious, but the fact is there is no other choice. So let me answer your question by another anecdote. And this is an anecdote that takes me back to my school days. जिस समय टीवी नहीं था, रेडियो वाज द ओनली थिंग, न्यूज़पेपर में आप पढ़ते थे. तो मैं इलाहाबाद, जो कि आज प्रयागराज है, वहाँ को बिलोंग करता हूँ. तो वहाँ पे जनरली क्या होता था कि दो चीजें हम पूरे साल होती थी। एक तो जून से लेके सितंबर तक बारिश काफी होती थी और आधे इलाकों में बाढ़ होती थी, और बाकी समय कम्युनल राइट्स इतने होते थे कि कहीं ना कहीं कुछ ना कुछ चलता रहता था। तो कम्युनल राइट्स पे जनरली क्या होता था, कर्फ्यू लग जाता था। हम लोग बच्चे थे, कुछ नहीं, घर पे रहते थे। तो अगले दिन जब पेपर आता था तो जब कर्फ्यू ईज होने लगता था तो वहां के डिस्ट्रिक्ट एडमिनिस्ट्रेशन का एक लाइन का प्रेस स्टेटमेंट आता था, and that statement said the situation is tense but under control. So if you ask me about the 2070, it is particularly in India, it is tense but under control. And why I say this, 2070 बहुत आगे है।
जी. And this is just my final question to you, Saurabh. What is the message you have for the youth? Because a lot of the audience are like fairly youngsters, job seekers, or maybe just entering into the job market. Is there any message you have for them who are just entering into this world of energy, climate, environment, efficiency, and so on?
I think for those who are in India, I think India is a kind of a lab for their innovations, for their enthusiasm, their power of imagination. Because as I told you, what we are trying to do together as a country, as a group of stakeholders, is not happened before in India. So all ideas are welcome. Never think that what you're thinking, what your idea is bad. No idea is ever bad. Never hesitate in experimenting, and never hesitate in reaching out to any one of us to see how we can support your big idea, because this country needs 1 million, if not 1 billion, big ideas in innovation, in clean energy to move forward and become what we aspire to be, a Vishwa Guru.
Absolutely. And go bold, go take risk. I think that's the recipe that you said.
Absolutely.
Very nicely said. Thanks to you, Saurabh.
Thank you, Vaibhav.
It was really, really insightful about this whole chat with you today. And thanks to you. And we are coming to a close. I'm your host, Vaibhav Chaudhary. And if you like our podcast, please do share and subscribe.